Hey everybody, Questwise here, and today I want to go back to a product that I mentioned and I talked about in an earlier video, but I think it's one of those games that you can't really talk enough about. There's a lot of great stuff in this game, and I want to start to kind of focus on certain minutiae of this game that really makes it unique and awesome as of a game as it really is. And by that I'm talking about Astonishing, Swordsmen, and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. If you've seen my previous video on this, I know a lot of you have, because I've gotten a lot of responses back from many of you about thanking me for doing this review, and how it's put a lot of you in sort of financial straits because you've ordered this book now, and now maybe you're in trouble with your spouse and whatnot. But I think it's a game that really deserves a lot of attention, and it does get a lot of attention out there on the web, but I feel like it's something that that kind of fits my channel, and something that really fits my interests as far as what gaming goes wise. Now, Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea is an OSR product, and so if you're still kind of on the fence and you're thinking to yourself, like, I already have a lot of other OSR products, what makes this one stand out? What really makes this game unique is the amount of options. While yes, it is an OSR product, and if you've played those kinds of things before, the D20 system, you'll be very familiar with how this game works. But I think it's a lot about the options that you get as well as the setting. And today we're going to talk about the races available to you as a player character. And later, we'll do another video on the amount of classes, because there are tons of classes that you can pick for your characters as well too. And we'll also talk about the world setting as well, because it's very unique in that fact as well too. And I think those are the three things that really set this game apart from all other OSR products. So let's talk about races today in this video, and then maybe in a later video we'll talk about a few other things as well. Let me grab my notes real quick. So there are a lot of races available for this game, and I'm just going to go through them very quickly, give you an overview of what each one is, and let you decide if this is going to be a product for you, or if you already have it, maybe a little bit more in depth of thought on like what kind of character you want to run or you want to play in the game itself. So without further ado, let's start off with the Amazon. So a lot of these are going to be very familiar to people who have been in the OSR movement for a long time, or been playing role-playing games for a long time, or if you're just a big reader of fantasy and or history. So we got the Amazons, warrior women. They come mostly from a city in the clouds, Amazonia. This idea of a matriarchal society run by women, where men oftentimes are slaves and or subservient to women as well too. So you can play as an Amazon. The next one is Atlanteans. Atlanteans are from Old Earth Atlantis, and we'll get into this. I'll mention Old Earth a lot of times in this video, but when we talk about the setting in a future video of Hyperborea, I'll describe more in depth what Old Earth kind of is. But from Old Earth Atlantis, they have sort of an aquatic background, and they're aquatic in nature, meaning that they have minor things like they're better at swimming. They have the ability to hold their breath longer. They have some aquatic features that tie back to being Atlantis being a sort of aquatic sort of island homeland with high technology. You have Eskimo, which are tribesmen. Think of Eskimo, right? They're from the frozen regions of Hyperborea and Old Earth, northern regions of the planet. Very good with things like sled dogs and snow, dealing with snow and those types of terrain features and stuff as well too. Hyperboreans, which are native to Hyperborea, they are think like Elric. They're sort of pale skinned race that is very haughty, and think less of other races and stuff out there, such as regular humans and such. So if you've ever read Elric, any of the tales by Michael Moorcock, you'll understand kind of what Hyperboreans are like. Ixians, they sort of hail from the fabled Isle of Ix, or Scythium of Old Earth, probably derived from Egyptian or Persian stock from Old Earth. The Celts, of course, derived from Old Earth, Irish and Scottish roots in there as well too. Chimerians from the Caucasus Mountains of Old Earth, think Conan, that kind of idea. Those types of sort of Germanic type tribesmen type people. The Chimeri Celts, which is a mixed race of the Chimerians and the Celts. Of course, when those two battled a lot, or they intermingled a lot, that became sort of a mixed race in there as well too. The Picts is again another race from Old Earth. They're tattooed. They tend to tattoo their bodies a lot in war paint. Very shamanistic in culture. Come from like old Caledonia on Earth as well. Half-blood Picts are a race that is sort of commingled between the Picts and an ancient race that they sort of conquered and commingled with. And they one of the quirky features is that women always bear twins in that society as well too. Just a weird sort of thing that happens in their culture. Vikings, enough said, right? Viking class, or Viking race are Vikings. They're raiders, they're traders, they're merchants, long ships, you know, all that kind of stuff. Bearded axes, those kinds of things. And then finally there's a what they call other races, which means that you can play basically, you know, any kind of Old Earth race that you would like to bring over. The thing I really love about Hyperborea in this game is that it has ties to what they call Old Earth. And the idea, and you've heard me talk about this before in previous videos, where I really love things like visitation fiction, and this really harbors into that a lot. So you could play somebody from Earth, just a regular person from Earth, either from Earth's history or Earth's future, that gets pulled into Hyperborea and becomes part of this whole world setting. So next time we'll do a video on the classes that are available, and there are dozens and dozens of classes when you mix classes with subclasses and such. And then we'll also touch upon a video where we'll go into a little bit more depth on the world setting of Hyperborea itself too. I hope that this has piqued your interest a little bit. Like I said, that's the greatest thing I think about this game, is that there are a numerous amount of choices for you to make when you're playing or running this game, and gives you a very big breadth of toys to play with, sort of a toolbox in order to create a world setting that you want to do, the kind of game that you want to do, the sort of OSR setting you want to do. You can go more sword and sorcery, you can go more high fantasy. It's very flexible in its choices and its the amount of options that there are available. So until next time, I am Questwise, and I am out.